Okay, I'm recording, I think. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh, I see what it's doing. Okay, I think I see. Looks like it's a shared screen on my end, but that's okay.
Yeah, okay, now I see Kay's box and my box and your picture.
Okay.
Hi, Kay.
Is there a way to make my picture fill up the screen? Oh, there's Linda. We got another one coming in. Hey. Okay.
So a
Okay.
second ago, I had your picture big on the screen and everybody else little, and it was the little boxes up in the right corner that gave you.
Right. Okay. Let me go back. Okay. How do I? Don't know what I did to make myself small, but let's go to participants. Okay. Close that. Okay. Meeting settings. What are we doing here? Okay. Rename themselves. Okay. No. Close. Okay. Well, let's see. There's got to be a way to make that bigger.
So you got bigger on mine when I picked gallery view.
Oh, okay. Okay. As long as you guys can see me big, I don't need mine big on my end at all. I'm not worried about that. As long as you guys can have a big enough screen to see what's happening.
Yeah. When I pick gallery view, it's like the boxes are all small on the right and you're big in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, you're on the right track then.
Super. Well,
Okay.
I'm going to mute this so when the dog barks, it won't interrupt the whole.
And there's probably a way for me to mute everybody on the side too, but all right. Well, it's go time, so let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
We've got 4 of us total here. I'll sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes and just let's take a few full deep breaths. Try to get relaxed. And we'll add some shoulder movement. So as you inhale, just lift the shoulders towards your ears. And exhale, let them sink all the way down. Let's do that again. Big inhale, pull the shoulders up. Exhale and lower them down. Let's do that 2 more times. Big inhale. And exhale. 1 more time. And then go ahead and open your eyes and just let your hands just hang down from at your sides. Wiggle those fingers a little bit. And we're just going to lift one arm at a time today. And as one arm's coming down, the other one will go up. And just a little pause. Keep going. I'm going to let Liz in. Liz just came into the waiting room. Will join us. Okay. Just keep going with those arms. I've been more worried about these morning classes, knowing that Zoom is probably loaded down with all the school kids and stuff right now. So I'm glad we're able to get on. Of course, I don't want to say that too soon and jinx myself. All right, let's reach up with both arms now. And just do a little shoulder shift. So one shoulder's higher, the hand reaches higher than the other. So just feel that whole shift of your shoulder blade and your shoulder girdle. Back and forth. And then reach up with both hands really tall, and we're going to sweep all the way down to the ground. Big inhale, lift up. And come down again. Lift it up. Let's do that one more time. Take it down and lift it up. And then just grab one wrist and slowly tilt to one side. And the other side. And release those hands down. Let's bring our hands to our thighs. We'll do a few torso circles. Start getting more movement down into the pelvis and the hips. And at some point, pause and reverse the circle. And we'll move down to the legs. Pick up one leg, same thing, just get the hip mobilized and loosened up. Do about 3 or 4 of these each way. And switch sides. And just relax the feet down. Let's go ahead and move into some twists now. So bring your hands into heart center. And we're just going to start by just turning the whole torso. Keep your chin lined up with your fingertips. And just turn and just notice how far that can go. You'll probably feel a little shift in your hips. That's fine. Bring it all the way across. So right now, head stays right over the fingertips. This next time, we'll go ahead and take the torso around and then let the head continue. Look over that back shoulder. And then bring the head back, bring the torso around, and the head around. Bring the head back, and come back to center. So we're going to get our upper body more involved now. Lift up, and then turn and try to hook one arm around the back of the chair, or at least reach for it. I know some of you are on dining room chairs and things besides a folding chair. Let's lift up and over. And up and over again. And one more time the other way. And come back to center, and we're going to get into our side facing twist a little earlier in the practice today. So go ahead and just walk those legs around. Have one side toward the back of the chair, and use the chair for leverage. One hand's pushing, one hand's pulling. And we're going to twist and hold for about 5 breaths here because we're earlier in the practice with this twist. So we're going to kind of ease our body into it. Just breathe in and out. Into that twisted torso. Let's do that 2 more times. On that last breath, as you exhale, just release your torso back to the front. Now we're going to let that one leg come down. This is where you might need a block or something to level out the hips. So whatever leg's down, just take that same hand and reach up. And then lean toward the back of the chair. And again, just a little hold here. Make sure your front knee isn't trying to tip over sideways. Bring that hand down. Let's go ahead and lift up both hands. Now we're really just reaching straight up to the ceiling. tip your head upwards if you can. You don't have to look straight up, but just a little bit of an elevation. Just be mindful of what feels good to your neck and your equilibrium. And bring your hands down. And we're gonna take that leg and reach it out now. Your sit bone is still off the chair, and we're gonna let that hip drop and just hike it up. So just keep your thumb down on the hip for a couple of reps, and then you can go ahead and extend overhead. It's just always good to locate where your hip is. Just get a little feedback by putting your hand in that place. And then reach and contract. And reach and contract. Let's do 2 more of those. Reach and contract. Last time, reach and contract. Pull that leg in. And walk yourself around. Both sit bones are on the chair, or at least feeling supported by the chair. Sit up nice and tall. We're going to twist toward the back of the chair. Front hand pulls, back hand pushes, shoulders relax. Just sit really tall and take a few breaths. I don't know if you guys can hear my spine popping. Wow. And release on an exhale. And then scoot a little bit off the front of the chair, and we'll come back into that kneeling lunge. Sit up nice and tall. Lift the hand, the same leg that's down, lift that arm up, and then just lean toward the back of the chair. Again, we're just going to hold that and breathe. So feel that stretch all along that extended side. That stretch that's mainly created by breathing, expanding the rib cage. And bring that hand down. Let's lift both arms up and just really reach to those fingertips toward the ceiling. Reach up tall. Direct your gaze slightly upward. And you don't have to tip and look straight up. That's actually not good for your neck. And then exhale, bring your hands down and pull that leg through and extend it out to the front now. So your sit bone is still off the chair, so put your hand on your hip to locate that and just feel it drop down and then feel it lift toward the ribs. Do that a couple of times and then we'll add that reach. So stretch that arm up as your hip drops and then contract and pull the arm down. Stretch and contract. Inhaling as the arm travels up. Exhaling as it pulls down. Just hold it here, take a couple more breaths. And make sure you're stable. You know, when you're hanging half your pelvis off the chair, you might feel like you're going to tip out of it. And come up, bend the knees, and we're going to walk back around to the front and stand up and get into a little more of a flow now. All right. So just come to the front of your chair, and we're going to come to mountain pose. And just stand, have about 4 inches between your big toes. Try to have your second toe pointing straight ahead, and just feel all 4 corners of both feet. Your big toe mound, small toe mound, inner heel and outer heel. Lift your toes and feel your arches engage. Start to feel the muscles in your lower legs working as well. And then that engagement just travels up your legs to your hips. Try to relax the back of your pelvis and gently lift the front of your pelvis And then lift your collarbones and your breastbones. Just think about elevating them, not sticking them out to the front, but just lifting everything up, standing as tall as you possibly can. This is the mountain. Just breathe in and out. So from here, let's stretch our hands upward, reach toward the ceiling, and then slowly let your hands find their way first to the back of the chair and then down to the seat. And to have a flat back, you may need to adjust the space between your feet and the chair. Just find that place. And we're just going to do a few cat-cows here. So round the back and arch. Back and forth. If it's hard to get the hands all the way to the seat of the chair, this is another place where you can elevate the seat of the chair by putting a block in the seat. All right. So find that neutral spine, and we're going to go ahead and just do bird dog legs. So I've got my hands where my thumbs are pointing through the back of the chair, my fingers are pointing toward the floor. That's a little more neutral for the wrist. And I'm just going to lift my right leg up. If you want to just touch your toe on the floor and back and have a light touch, you can. If you want to lift it all the way up, flex your foot and just feel like you're just trying to reach right through your heel toward that opposite wall. And then my gaze is angling over the back of the chair. Just lower that leg down. So get that foot planted on the ground. And then we'll do the same thing with the other side. It may just be sliding back and just having a very light touch on your toes where you're just lightly engaging your glutes. Or that full extension where you're reaching through your heel toward the opposite wall. Notice if your back tries to sag when you do this. Keep that belly nice and tight. We are holding these a little longer than normal. Exhale and bring it down. All right, so we're gonna do walk the dog legs here. All that is just bending one knee, heel up off the floor, and then the other. We'll do that again, and again, and again, and again. Let's do one more on each side. And then both heels down. All right. So bend your knees. We're going to come up here, give our back a little break. But we're going to come into warrior one from a standing position. So take your left foot and just bring it toward the seat of the chair. And then you might scoot your right leg back a little bit. Have a little bend in that front knee. We're just going to lift the hands up and come into warrior one. So notice how your feet are engaging with the floor. If you need to shift them around a little bit, by all means do that. So we're going to take our hands out like cactus arms today and just very slowly squeeze them to center. And then use your back muscles to pull them open. And slowly squeeze through. Open it up. Slowly squeeze through. Open it up. We'll do that one more time like this. Squeeze it together. Open it up. Let your hands come down. So now my lower arms are parallel to the floor, and we're just gonna cross and open, cross and open. So we're doing a light stretch across the back when we bring those arms to center, and then contracting those back muscles as we open, all while looking straight ahead. And then just reach forward, slice the hands through, connect behind the back. Breathe, feel how that opens the chest. And you'll feel kind of an expansion into your breastbone with the breath. And then to come out of that, go ahead and use your chair. Pull your front leg back. We're gonna switch our front leg. Have a little bend in that knee. Walk your hand onto your thigh. Now we're doing warrior one on the other side. So same thing again. Notice how your feet meet the floor, meet the mat. Really reach those fingertips. Your belly is your bridge between your pelvis and your hips. We're going to open those hands out to the sides again. Same thing. A little squeeze to the center. A little squeeze of the shoulder blades to open. Squeeze to the center. Engage some muscles around the shoulder blades. Hold it open. Let the hands rotate. Now just alternate your top arm and just cross. Pull it open. Every time you change, basically your hand position, it changes the way your upper arm works in your shoulder joint. That's why we do different positions like this. Let's do one more. Might have had a couple of bonus reps there. And then just take it to the front. Slice it through. Open the chest. Notice if those shoulders start creeping right up your neck. Try to press them back down. Take a breath. Feel that expansion into the front of your chest. And then release the hands back to the seat of the chair. And pull that leg through. We're going to come into a chair-supported dog. So walk your hands toward the back of the chair and reach your sit bones the other way. So we feel that stretch through our shoulders and into our spine, which is really what downward dog is targeting. It also gets the hamstrings a little bit, but we can get 90% of what we're targeting with a chair. And everything's a little longer hold today. More breaths, more breathing. Bend in the knees. Walk those feet back to the edge of the chair again. We're going to come back to the mountain. If you want to this time, and feel stable enough to bring those big toes all the way together, it's a narrower contact point on the ground. Let's see if you can engage all those leg muscles again. Another way to think about it is gently directing your tailbone downward. That's another way to get the pelvis to be better and more, better aligned. And the pelvis is kind of slightly angling down, and you're reaching up and lifting through the rib cage, and that's lengthening your spine and creating a little bit of space between the vertebrae, taking away some of the compressive forces. All right. So we're going to finish up by doing triangle on both sides, and then we'll make our way back to the chair. So go ahead and bend over. And I'm going to step back with my left foot and bring my right leg under the chair. And this time I'm keeping my right leg straight. And I'm going to keep my right hand on the seat of the chair. And I'm just going to open my left hand up. And I'm really reaching my spine sideways as much as possible. Engage your core enough so that you're not, I could take my arm off and still hold myself up. The idea is that you're not just throwing all your body weight onto that bottom arm. And that would apply if you were doing a triangle without the chair. If you can engage your feet into the floor like you're trying to slide them apart, feel what that does to your hips and pelvis. Oh, we're popping again. It's a good pop, it's just kind of interesting. And bring it down. I'll pull that front leg back and put the back leg in front. So now my left leg is in front, my right leg is back. And just angle your back foot and go by what feels good in your hip. And this front hand, my right hand is just going to open up toward the ceiling. And the chair is a resting place for your hand, but not a major weight bearing spot. Just hold that and breathe. Feel your spine lengthening in a horizontal direction. And bring it down. And we'll finish with this chair supported forward fold. So see how far down you can go. Again, you pay attention to what your body needs. But the nice thing about this, if you're able to get the head a little bit below the heart, you get some of the energetic benefits of an inversion. Anytime your head is below your heart in yoga, you are technically doing an inversion. So don't let that word scare you. It's not that we have to go into a handstand or a headstand. And this can have a calming effect on the central nervous system. Kind of like when they used to make everybody lay their heads down on their desks when we were kids and getting rowdy at school. Okay, everybody lay your heads down and calm things down. Same idea. And keep coming back to that breathing, in and out. All right, so to come out of that, you have to use your hands a little bit. Press up, bend those knees slightly, come up to standing. And pause here before we move around a lot, because you may have shifted your blood flow a little bit. It does happen, so don't stand up too fast and get a little wobbly. And whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and turn my chair back around here, face the camera. And we're going to use our strap. So hopefully if you have a yoga strap where you can make a loop in it, do that. If you have a necktie or something, maybe just tie a little loop at the end. So with the strap, you just take your tongue of the strap through both rings and then take it over one and under the other. Now some straps have a little plastic loop instead. And I'm going to pull it to where it looks almost like a lasso rope. So the first thing we're going to do with this is put it around our legs. So get it to where your knees are about hip width apart, and then press your legs out into the strap. And as soon as you're pushing out like that, feel how that really stabilizes, kind of locks down your lower body. You're just really solid now holding that strap. You're engaging some of the thigh glute muscles there. So with the legs basically locked down, we're going to lift up and stretch up tall. And this may feel like a little bit of work here. And bring it down. The other thing is, you may notice when you're squeezing your legs out like this, it's real hard to slouch. So engaging these hip muscles, it helps you sit up tall. Now, not to say that you need to sit all the time with a strap around your legs. It's just an awareness tool more than anything else. We're going to do a twist again, and you'll notice, you may have felt that hip shift earlier. They aren't shifting now, so you probably won't get as far. Lift it up, and we're going to come across to the other side. You're probably starting to feel those muscles get tired. So we're going to come back to center and relax. Just take the pressure off. Notice what that feels like. All right. So we'll slide it down to our ankles, and I'm just going to take my right foot out and keep my left foot in it, and then have the loop on my foot. So I'm hanging on to the loop. I got this big long tail that's not really serving a purpose. But sometimes this makes it easier to hang on to the strap. Just holding on like this instead of grabbing that tail of that strap. So hold that leg out. Sit tall. I'm going to push this foot into the ground and reach this hand up. And you might rotate this hand a little bit. I don't know if you can see my thumb kind of roll into the top. That may help keep you from shrugging that left shoulder. So this hand that's reaching up, we're going to bring it down, come across, grab that leg, and angle that leg. And again, we're going to be very different on how far we can get that leg across and what you're feeling. So you just see what it does. All right, let's bring that leg in. We're going to just bend the knee and guide it onto the foot. Continue pulling on the foot and pushing on the knee. Now we're doing a seated pigeon, using the strap to help rotate that thigh bone in the hip socket. Keep checking that breathing. Sometimes as you're just thinking about what you're doing, you know, feeling the tension of the stretch, you start breathing, the breaths get shallower. Check into that and try to deepen the breath again. And let go of that foot. And we'll uncross that leg. Now we're going to move the strap and put it on the other foot. So same hand to start. And just extend that leg out. So brace this foot into the ground. That's going to make you more solid across the pelvis. Reach up. Notice if you're trying, if the shoulder's going to creep toward the ear if we aren't careful. So that's why I'm kind of turning my hand. That'll help keep that from happening. Keep breathing. This hand comes down. Just get a little pass off here and just angle it. And again, it may not go very far. That's okay. And we're going to start to bend the knee and let the knee open up. Bring that leg onto the other, using that strap to guide that foot. And you can tug on that foot as you're pushing down on this leg. I just, every so often, the shoulders just keep creeping toward those ears. So just pay attention to that. Breathe in and out. And then relax. And set that aside briefly. We're going to open our legs out to the sides. That's the one thing we really haven't done yet today. So, sit tall and just see how far you can open up those legs and still sit tall. Try to push the feet into the ground again. And we're going to reach the hands up. And I'm just going to reach my right arm down to my right leg, get a little bit of support, and lean in that direction. It's very subtle. We're not going way over. Reach up with the other hand. Then we go to the other side. Just lean, get a little bit of support. And come up. Bring both hands down. And we're going to lead with the chest and come right into that space between our legs. And then try to very slowly unroll the spine. And again, coming up with a little name for the action where we actively are engaging our feet with the ground as we sit. I call that active sitting. And sitting can get very passive, as we all know. All right, now we're going to walk our hands all the way down. Use a block if you need it. And just do a wide-legged forward fold. Let's put one hand on your leg and just gently press into that. Creates a little twist of the ribs. And we'll come down and get the other side. Gently push. And bring it down. And then walk your hands back up. Bring those legs all the way together. We're going to reach up again and try to come back down. Forward fold. Come down as far as you can. Hold that. And you're probably noticing, okay, I'm bent forward. It's hard to breathe as deeply. And that's true. It probably is. But try to feel like you're letting that breath expand into your back rib cage a little bit, the back of your lungs. Sit back up. And bring your hands down. And we're going to grab that strap again. And you can keep that loop if you want to. We're just going to have it between our hands. We can untie the loop after we finish class. But mainly you want the strap right now is to connect the hands. We're going to have a little bit of outward pull as we lift the hands up. And then gently tug to one side. Sit tall and breathe. And come up. And pull to the other side. Back to center. And we'll just go ahead and let that make its way down. Just let it set on the floor. We're going to finish with a little bit of wrist therapy, hand movement. So just bring your hands together like spider fingers. Do some spider push-ups, nice and slow. And even though we're closing our hands, because we're not curling our fingers under, it's not working the hand quite the same way as if we were gripping. And then let's just roll the hands over and try to flip the fingernails toward each other. And then palms down, we're just going to do some wrist rolls, roll through. And reverse it. Let's just pull the fingertips toward the torso. And then let the fingers point down and pull on the knuckles. Other side, pull the fingertips. And then fingers point down, pull the knuckles. And we'll just give everything a little shake here. And we're just going to finish with some more breathing. So sit up tall and just place your right hand on your chest and your left hand on your belly. And close your eyes, and we're going to literally breathe into the chest and then into the belly. Then out of the belly and out of the chest. So chest into the belly, and then belly out of the chest. Just keep going with that. When you're anxious, you tend to just breathe into the chest and not all the way into the belly. So notice how that full belly breath has a grounding effect. Let's take one more full deep breath. And then bring both hands into heart center. And I don't really have anything to read, but just to close with this thought that, what can we do each day, but particularly today, that brings connection, that brings unity, that helps bring us together, that we find the things, the needs that we all have in common rather than the things that are creating division. So one last full deep breath for connection and unity. Namaste.
Thank you, Jan.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining me, guys. Let's see.